Hi, and welcome to the Minecraft equivalent of Beer Pong. What you see in front of you is a Minecraft representation of a fun party game that is only played by people of legal drinking age. Now, it's called Beer Pong. Doesn't have to be beer, could be any beverage. But the whole idea is to have a ping pong table, ideally, and at both ends of that ping pong table, have 10 solo cups set up in the way that you see them here. Maybe blue cups on one end, red on the other, doesn't really matter. But you throw ping pong balls into your opponent's cups. When you get one into a cup, they're forced to drink the entire contents of whatever beverage that may be. The winner is the one that gets rid of all of their opponent's cups. Now in this case, the cups are represented by Minecraft blocks, and we are throwing an ender pearl instead of a ping pong ball. But let me show you how it works. If I throw the ender pearl at one of my opponent's red cups, I'm trying to get in to this hole in the center. Now the way this works is because that's a heck of a shot. Any place you land on top counts as a hit. So I drop down in here, and now you notice the cup disappeared. Then I can run over here, click on this button, and I'm back on my platform with another pearl. And the turns would go back and forth between players. So let's do one more. Let's see if I can get one right in there. Nope, not even close. And that's all there is to it. Basic beer pong. If you want to know the nuances, Google it. But before I move on, I want to just say that this design is not mine, or at least the layout. This belongs to Seth Bling. And I saw the design in a video and said, oh, I really want to build this, and then could not find a building tutorial. So I decided to design one of my own. Now I did attempt to do one with pistons and the whole bit. It was a pain. So I switched over to command blocks, and this is what I came up with. So with no further ado, let's get to building it. Now what I'm going to do with this video is break it up into little chunks to make it a little bit easier to understand. This is probably the most complex project I've done a tutorial video on, and I want to make sure I'm not losing people along the way. So this first section is going to be an overview of the way things are set up. What you're looking at is the tabletop. This tabletop is 53 blocks long by 35 blocks wide, and that includes the 2-block wide stripe that runs around the entire perimeter of the table. Down the center is a white stripe you can put there if you want or not, and then you can see that I've put down some red and blue markers. These are to mark the centers of each of the cups, both on the red side and the blue side. So if we go down here, let me show you that these are separated by 5 blocks in between. So if you look at these, they're 1 block up off of the white, and then there's 5 blocks in between. 5 blocks in between here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then out to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the 1 block edge around there, just like behind them. Same is true front to back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this next row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the next row, 1, 2, you get the idea. And these are just all separated by 5 blocks until you get this bowling pin pattern here. And you do the same thing on the other side. So that's basically it, and all of the command blocks end up recessed below. So let me go to that part, and we'll talk more about the command blocks. There are 6 command blocks that I used in this build, and if you've never used command blocks before, this might not be the best project to start with. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to talk through it as best I can so that you're not getting lost along the way, and hey, you know, maybe this might be a great first project. But anyhow, let me show you what I've got here. I've labeled each of these as red concrete, blue concrete, pressure plate, and you notice it says chain underneath. I'll explain that in a moment. Clear cup, get ender pearl, and teleport home. And that's it. Now if we go into the command block by right-clicking on it, you can see the commands that I've already put in. And each of them has the appropriate command. These are all in the description underneath the video, so you can simply copy and paste these into your command blocks. So you don't have to worry about memorizing this or, typing it in and pausing the video unless you really want to. Now I mentioned that I would talk about chain versus impulse. If you look at these, the orange ones here say impulse on them. That means that when a redstone pulse hits them, they'll execute the command. These, however, are green, and both of these are set up to chain. And what that means, if we go in here and we look at this button here, it is set to chain. And if the command block prior to it executes its command, it will then pass on to this block, and then this one will execute its command. And you want to make sure that the orange block is pointed towards the next one in the chain. Now if we go over here, this is a cutaway view of what is going underneath each of these markers out on the field. So if you imagine that's the red marker that we see here, underneath that is a clear cup block. Down below that is the pressure plate block. And what that does, this block will clear the cup out of the way if you actually land in the cup. This one, when we reset the whole field, will put the pressure plate in place. And then these around the outside edge will put in the red concrete or the blue concrete. Now there's one missing right here, and that allowed me to put in the cutaway view so you could see this one underneath here. Now, if we go around here, I put in a button to reset the cup, and there will be one button that resets the entire field. If I push this button, you can see the cup appeared. Now, if I end up in this cup, the cup disappears. Go back down here, reset the cup. Go down here, cup disappears. It's that simple. Now I left the red block in place here just so that it's more recognizable. This could easily be a green block, so when the cup disappears, there's nothing on the field at all. I'm going to leave the red block in place for now at least, just to make sure that we know where everything is. And that's pretty much it. Again, if you haven't worked with command blocks, hopefully you can kind of figure it out based on what I just gave you. So now I'm going to move on to actually placing these command blocks. Before we can put those command blocks in place, obviously we need to dig the holes. So let me show you how to do that. If we look at our cutaway mock-up here, you can see that we need to dig like a T-shaped hole that's got the clear cup command block on top, this pressure plate chained command block underneath, and then 4 of the red concrete blocks around the outside here. All right, again, there's one missing so that I can show the cutaway. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to dig 3 blocks down and then 2 blocks over on all 4 sides. Now the first block I'm going to place, if I can get out of here, is this one here. And this will create the pressure plate. If we go into it, you can see that it is setting a block 3 blocks above to the pressure plate. So by holding down Control or Command and then the center button, I can pick that block up with the commands intact. And that one goes right in the center here. And if I click on it, you can see it did maintain the command. The next one I'm going to place is those 4 red concrete ones, and that's right here. Again, Control or Command, and click on that. Now, one of these needs to point at that chain command block here. So I'm going to need to get rid of one of these. And if I go on the opposite side here, watch what happens. You can see that the arrow is pointing to the chain command block. The rest of these don't matter. They can go in any way we want, but we need at least one that is pointing towards that. And then on top of here, we need the clear cup one. And that's the one right there. So we'll go down here, Control, pick that one, and that will go right on here. Now I'm going to have to hold down Shift key in order to stack that on top. And we're going to leave this open so that we can do the stringing of the rest of the redstone a little bit easier. Going over here, same thing again. Go down 3 blocks. Now I'm not going to do all of these, but I'll show you one more here real quick. And we need the chain command block here, the one we've already got. We'll put that one there. And I believe it was this one, yes. On the other side so that it's pointing in that direction. And the rest of these can go any way we want. And then finally, this third one here. And Shift and put that in place. And we're just going to check it here in Minecraft error. Error is what gets rid of the cup. So that is it. I'm going to finish up the rest of these, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to wire this whole thing up. Okay, I got all of the holes dug and got all of the command blocks placed. One thing I forgot to mention was that on the far end, you're going to want to use the blue concrete blocks if you want blue cups. Now, do you need blue cups throughout? No. But if you do, these command blocks are going to need to be the blue concrete ones. So they should say fill Minecraft blue concrete. All right, with all of those placed, we're going to need to wire it up with redstone so that when we push one button, all the cups reappear, and along with the pressure plates as well. So we have to dig the trenches to run the redstone. And I'm going to show you just how easy that's going to be, though maybe a little time consuming. But all I'm going to do is dig each of these down 2 blocks surrounding the command blocks. So we have this flat surface here. Same thing here. And we're going to do the same with every one of these. Just like that. Now instead of fast forwarding through the magic of television, I'm just going to flip to the next part where all of these are dug. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All of the holes are dug, and now what we want to do is run the trenches that the redstone's going to go through. So let's go down here, and I'm going to start in the center. Now off to one side, I am going to place a button right in the center here. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to go right out from here, go off to the side of the table here, and that is going to be where our button goes to reset the entire table. So I'm going to dig down 2 here, and then go all the way to that center. When we get to the center here, I'm going to branch off and go right there. And then I'm going to branch off and go to this one. And then I'm going to branch off and go to this one. And branch off and go to this one. And what I'm going to do is the same thing on the other side. So branch off and connect all of these. And then what I can do is I can connect these back ones like this. Oops, there we go. And that'll connect those 2. And we've just got the one missing here. So it's going to drive me nuts that this isn't symmetrical, but I can come off of either one of these And we'll go this one and go out that way. So now all of these will be interconnected. And again, I'm not going to go through it all right here, but you get the idea. We need to connect all of these to the next one. And then we're going to take some redstone, and I'm going to need repeaters as well, because the redstone signal can only go 15 blocks without being renewed or recharged or whatever you call it. You get a new redstone signal. So we're going to go here, and this will be the start of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to put one in here, just like that, and then continue on. Now, of course, this will be a T branch here going to the blue section. All right. And what I'm going to do is, before I get to each one, I'm going to put a repeater just for good cause. Now, we could go further without a repeater, but then we got to figure out where each one needs to go. Then, holding down the Shift key, we're going to surround this with redstone. Now, we can skip that one because, as you see, all of the command blocks are connected. And then we're going to head off this way. Put a repeater there. And let's check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plenty. And we'll lay this redstone in. One right back there. And then come off of there. And one more. Whoops. Forgot my repeater. Put that there. All right, surrounded. Last one here. Then I'm going to go back and do this all off camera so you don't have to sit here and watch me and be bored out of your skull. Put one back there. And then we'll run over to this one. We can just go that way. All right, so let me finish these all up, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got it all wired up. And wouldn't you know it, as I was wiring it up, I realized there was a more efficient way to lay out those trenches. Here's the way I showed you, and you can see it's kind of a mess, kind of a hodgepodge. Then I realized all I had to do was this. But I wasn't going to redo it all, so hey, you do it the way that makes you happy. Either way works perfectly fine. This is just more elegant, I guess. So let's get this thing tested. We're going to go over here. I'm going to get rid of that redstone, put a block there, and replace the redstone. Then I'm going to put a quartz pillar here. Now, this could be anything you want it to be. I am just using a quartz pillar because it makes me happy. And then I'm putting a button on top. Now, theoretically, what we should see happen when we push this button is we should see a bunch of red cups pop up. Let's see if I did it right. And blue cups too. And let's see, did I get them all? Did I get them all? Oh, score! Yep, I did it right. So now all of our cups have come up, and you can see there's still holes underneath. So obviously the next thing to do would be to buckle it all up. Or button it all up. Is buckle it up is that a phrase? Anyhow, we're going to put the covers on. So all you have to do is lay in this green concrete. Or whatever color you've chosen. Now here we're going to have to go down like that. There we go. Now you're saying, well, why didn't you fill that in before you tested it? Well, then I'd have to like refill it if I screwed up somewhere. So it's just as easy to do it this way. I guess I could just stay down here in this trench. And I am going to finish this up, and once again, I'll be back. All right, it's all buttoned up and it looks great. So I should be able to go out here and test it and it should work perfectly fine. So I drop down into this cup and it disappears. Head over here, push the button, and the cup should reappear. But it doesn't. And I realized something I had messed up on. Now I could have blown past this, but I thought, what a great teaching moment. So let me show you what I did. When I put this block in, I cut the redstone signal at the corner there. So what I need to do is figure out a workaround. And here's what I came up with. I'm going to reroute the redstone signal around. So when I put this block back, you can see I still have a clean redstone signal. Now you're saying, Mark, but if you put a block right there, you're going to have the same problem. But not if I put a quartz staircase. And you can see that indeed the redstone signal will be able to follow that. I'm going to put one on that side just so it's symmetrical and looks a little nicer. So now if I lay this green block in, we should be good to go, right? But we're not. Reason being, if you remember, I counted 14 redstone dust. By putting that little jog in, I went 15, 16, and now that's too far for the redstone signal to carry. So what I need to do is put a repeater in, and now it'll work, I promise. And there it is. So, little lesson in troubleshooting. Just a little aside, hopefully it helps. Now the next thing to do is put in the platforms. Now the platforms are 7 blocks wide, 4 blocks tall, by 3 blocks deep. And these can be any material you want, and you can make them as pretty as you want or as ugly as you want, doesn't matter. All right, so I'm just going to use oak. I'm going to set it back 1 block here. And like I said, it's 7 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there we go. Except I'm going to change these corners here just to make them a little nicer. 2, 3, 4 tall. 4 tall. And then I'm going to fill this in. Again, you can do this however you want. And as a matter of fact, this platform does not need to be exactly this size. This is just the size that I found works best. And you can go bigger. And I'm going to lay some fence around just to keep from falling off the back edge. But in case somebody falls off the front edge, I'm going to put some ladders right here. There. And now we have our platform. And this is the one that we throw the ender pearls from. So we are set to go. We need to build another one on that side. And then we also need to build our fence. Now the reason you need the fence is basically to keep you from kind of falling off the edge, depending on what terrain you have around here. You don't necessarily need this. So I'm just going to grab some light gray stained glass. And I'm going to make it 1 block taller than the cups. So the cups are 3 high. I'm going to go to 4 high with these. And that'll match this as well. So we'll have a nice fence, and I'm going to put it all the way around. But again, I'm going to do that off camera. So I'll be right back. Okay, the entire fence is in, and I put in the other platform as well. Now I did change one minor thing on the fence. I went 5 blocks high instead of 4, just to give myself a little bit of a safety margin back there so I don't fly over the top. Now the last thing we need to do is put in some type of teleport mechanism as well as some way of getting an ender pearl, and it really is pretty simple. We're going to use these last 2 command blocks here. One is for getting the ender pearl and one is to teleport back to the other platform. So let's grab this one, and again, Control, center click, and this one as well. Then I'm going to go over here And I am going to dig down a little bit. Now, if you remember, the chained block has to have the block prior to it pointing at it. So we're going to put this one in here. And by doing it like that, you can see that the arrow is pointing down to this chained command block. Now, before I button it up, I need to finish programming the teleport one. If you look, it says TP teleport at P, the closest player, XYZ. The Minecraft is not going to understand what that means. We need to give it an X, Y, and Z coordinate. And that's going to be wherever we want to teleport to at the opposite platform. So if we go over here and we say, all right, I want to come in on that block, we can take a look and we can see that's -9, 59, 72. Well, we want to be one block up from that, otherwise we're going to drop through to the bottom. So it'll be -9, 60, 72. So we'll go back over and drop down here. And we'll program it to be -9, 60, 72. And we can button this up. Now you could do this any way you wanted to. If I'm going to enclose this, then that's not going to be a big deal. If that's ugly to you, you can find another way to do it. And I'm going to grab a button. And we'll just put it right on here. And that should be it. So let's push it and find out. We now have an ender pearl, and we're on the other platform. So I'll pitch it over. Let's see what we end up with here. Oh, so close. So now I just run over here, hit the button, and I'm back on my platform. And I've got another ender pearl. Because I'm in creative right now, those ender pearls are going to continue to stack up. But if you're in survival, you'll get a new ender pearl each time. See if I have any better luck. Oh, I'm up on top, which allows me to then drop in. So that is all there is to it. And then you just need to put one of these at the other end. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. It is a little more complex than I typically do in my tutorials. I try to keep them simple, but this was such a cool thing, and I could not find a video on how to do it, so I had to do it myself. If you have any questions, by all means, leave them in the comments and let me know what you think of this. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, or best of all, share. And if you didn't like this video, keep it to yourself. Thanks a lot for watching.